Good morning. My name is Larry Laverdure. I think it's Irish. And I am happy to welcome all of you this fine morning to the Boulder Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. My pronouns are he, him, and hey, you. I'm joined today by our interim minister, the Reverend Dr. Barbara Quayman. Today's music is provided by the beautiful and talented Julie Morris on the piano and Michaela Sievers, our song leader, par excellence. Today's tech team is Larry Sherwood, Paula Zimmerman, and Karen Griglak. As I welcome you today, I invite you to, those of you on Zoom, to shift into gallery mode and scroll through the screens to experience the beauty of this congregation. Those present here, look around with a warm smile, a wink, and an open heart. You are welcome here today, just as you are, in all the beauty of the ways that you are unique. Languages, cultures, skin tones, shapes, sizes, gifts, and challenges. All of these aspects of you are welcomed here. In all the ways gender informs your experience, you are welcomed here. In the beautiful gift of who you love and how you love, you are welcome here. In all the ways you keep it together, you are welcome here. No matter what traditions inform your spiritual life, you are welcome here today. Whether you come with a joyful heart or you really need a hug, you're welcome here today. You are invited to join us with a curious mind, an open heart, and a willing spirit. We welcome you today. We commit ourselves to being a center for spiritual exploration and justice making, and to anti-racism and anti-oppression work within and beyond our congregation. We affirm the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion, despite the federal effort to make America even more bigoted again. If you're new here, we're glad you found us, and hope whether you're here with us in person or virtually, you can experience the warmth of this congregation. Please come back a few times to really get to know us. We have many opportunities during the week for social connection and spiritual growth. Those on Zoom can check out the links in the chat to help you get connected. And those in person can stop by the welcome table in our foyer, also Irish, for fellowship information and a newcomer form. It's also on the QR code in the back of the hymnal, or so I'm told. If you would like to view a simple order of service for today's service on your phone, please scan the QR codes, and they're not up there. Not today, okay. I'm glad I found out. Well, now I'm lost. No QR codes, okay. Following the service, those on Zoom will be able to and are encouraged to converse online. Those physically here are welcome to the coffee hour in the fellowship hall. And now, those on Zoom, please feel free to greet each other in the chat. And if you're a newcomer, we encourage you to say so we can greet you properly. We'd love to know who is among us. Those of you in the sanctuary, please take a moment to greet those around you. When you hear the music, you should stop greeting those around you.
Good morning to everyone. I'm Reverend Barbara, the grateful minister of this congregation. My pronouns are she and her. It's good to see each of you this morning. When we come together in our congregations, we light our chalice, the symbol of our faith. I invite you to share the chalice lighting words, which will be on the screen in a moment. There we go, as Larry lights the chalice. We light this chalice It is not by chance that you arrived here today. You have been looking for something larger than yourself. Inside of you, there is a yearning, a calling, a hope for more, a desire for a place of belonging and caring. Through your struggles, someone nurtured you into being, instilling a belief in a shared purpose, a common yet precious resource that belongs to all of us when we share. And so, you began seeking a beloved community, a people that does not put fences around love, a community that holds its arms to possibilities of love, a heart home to nourish your soul and share your gifts. Welcome to this community. My friends, let us be together this morning in this space and online and be glad. We come together in singing with our opening hymn. The words will be on the screen. It's also in the gray hymnals if you wish to follow the score. It's number 318 in the gray hymnal. We would be one indeed. As a community, we are one. Please rise in body or in spirit.
We would be one, as now we join in singing our hymn of love, to pledge ourselves anew to that high cause of greater understanding of who we are and what in us is true. We would be one in living for each other, to show to all a new community. We would be one in building for tomorrow, a nobler world than we have known today. We would be one in searching for that meaning which finds our hearts and points us on our way. As one we pledge ourselves to greater service, with love and justice strive to make us free.
Dear friends, it would be hard for you to not have noticed that in the last 3 weeks, the national news has been replete with stories of a mean, hateful, and widespread effort by the Trump administration to eradicate any and all diversity, equity, and inclusion-based programs from all government agencies, while attacking the rights of immigrants, gender nonconforming citizens, and reproductive rights of all women. I'm outraged at the divisiveness of this official xenophobia and sexism with its patriarchal insensitivity. But to be sure, this is not America's first outbreak of bigotry. One of America's great modern poets, Mary Oliver, had this to say about the 2008 recession, where trillions of dollars in unsecured mortgages flowed to the elites of Wall Street, while millions lost their homes. I'll admit that when I first read this poem, I ran into the word penury, and I had to look it up. It means abject poverty. You will shortly hear it. That's what it means. Of the Empire is the name of the poem by Mary Oliver. We will be known as a culture that feared death and adored power, that tried to vanquish insecurity for the few and cared little for the penury of the many. We will be known as a culture that taught and rewarded the amassing of things, that spoke little, if at all, about the quality of life for people, other people, for dogs, for rivers. All the world, in our eyes, they will say, was a commodity. And they will say that this structure was held together politically, which it was. And they will say also that our politics was no more than an apparatus to accommodate the feelings of the heart, and that the heart in those days was small, was hard, and full of meanness. We Unitarian Universalists struggle with social class issues despite our DEI principles. Congregations often are composed mostly of educated professionals. It is essential to explore how social class impacts congregational life, theology, ministries, and memberships right here at BVUUF and in the greater denomination. Demographics influence theological views and ministry access. Higher income congregations may overlook social justice issues affecting lower income communities, maintaining a de facto exclusivity. BVUUF needs to expand our outreach, address classism, promote economic diversity in leadership, and develop programs for various economic backgrounds. I'm quoting here from poet-performer Aylock. The writer Philip Pullman once said, quote, "Poetry is not a fancy way of giving you information. It is an incantation. It is actually a magic spell. It actually changes things. It changes you." End of the Philip Pullman quote. I come to you in the midst of the fires of hate with the sincere belief that we can be forged into something more beautiful on the other side. That does not make me an optimist. It makes me a poet. And to be a poet is to resurrect dead things like hope. To be a poet is to be an ambassador for humanity in a society with a allergic reaction to itself. To be a poet is to notice the quiet magic that sustains life, is to tune each word to the hum of it. Find majesty and magnificence in the muck. Poetry is not merely a genre of literature. It is a mode of living. Something we can all do if we allow ourselves to be beautiful. So, won't you please allow yourselves to be beautiful? I think you know the beauty they're talking about. It's not clothing, haircuts, or makeup. And so I repeat, won't you please allow yourself to be beautiful right now as we welcome into our community that struggles for diversity, that longs for equity and inclusion, for all those who would join us in our poetry. Believing that diversity is when you're invited to the party, and inclusion is when you're asked to dance. And equity is when your efforts are applauded as much as everyone else's.
Friends, this is a moment in our congregational life when we celebrate the joyous ceremony of welcoming new members. May I invite the 4 current members of the congregation who are part of this ceremony to please come forward. And may I invite all of you to, here in the room and online, to get out the text for the new member ceremony, which was distributed as you were coming in or is posted online. We're not coming forward yet with new members, please. I haven't started the ceremony yet. I'll get to you. See how eager they are to become members? Yeah? The life of a religious community is filled with both small and great occasions, because the core of this free congregational faith is its congregations and its members. Among the most sacred events is the welcoming of new members. Will those who have completed the path to membership class, now it's your turn, and indicated their wish to become members of this congregation, please come forward. And again, friends, if you haven't gotten it out yet, make sure you have a copy of the ceremony. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. It is indeed an honor to welcome you into membership in the Boulder Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. This is a ceremony of covenanting. A covenant is a promise. Membership invites you into several covenants. A covenant first of challenge, because the membership process asks several commitments from members. Membership signifies that you support the purposes and programs of this congregation, outlined in bylaws, mission, and covenant statements. Membership is also a covenant of hope. Here in this congregation, you can find acceptance, community, and friendship. When life gets tough, you can draw inspiration from this community. If expectations sour, you can find renewal here. If you grow cynical, you can be reminded of how deeds of fellow human beings who have gone before you have made a difference in the world. And if you find yourself just plain frazzled, you can be renewed by having fun here at this fellowship. Above all, you can draw from the deep well of love and respect that is the promise of this faith we share together. Finally, membership asks of you and of everyone to covenant to celebrate the best of this spiritual community. This congregation has already been enhanced by the presence of each of you. We are so glad you are here.
Hi, I'm April. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a membership chair here, helping to steward our new members to join us. Oh, there we go. In signing the membership book, you're committing your own spirit to your own spiritual growth and the growth of other members. Will you accept? Yeah.
We're on the sheet. That's where I'm-
Mike? Okay. Members of this congregation, first, it is now your turn. I invite members of this congregation in the sanctuary and on Zoom to rise in body or in spirit as you are able and read the welcome statement on the handout and in the Zoom chat. We welcome you, new members, into this community. We promise to journey with you as you experience the challenges and hopes of membership in the shared ministry of this congregation. And now will everyone, members and friends, in person and online, read the covenant of membership. We covenant to build a religious community together that is guided by love, sustained by respectful relationships, and committed to action to make a better world. We celebrate this common purpose whenever we gather and do our best to support this covenant.
Everyone, welcome, welcome, welcome. Right.
Wow, that was something, huh? Each week, we remind ourselves of the abundance of our lives and this community by giving half of our plate away to those organizations that share our values. Today, the half plate is for the National Alliance on Mental Illness, shortened to NAMI. Colorado chapter's mission is to build communities of recovery and hope for educating, supporting, and advocating for individuals affected by mental illness and their families. NAMI envisions a world where all people affected by mental illness live healthy, fulfilling lives supported by a community that cares. To that end, NAMI is building a robust network of programs and services that support local communities in providing advocacy, education, support, and public awareness. You can text your donation to the number up on the screen, or if you're here in the fellowship, place a donation in the offering plate as it passes. Please give generously, as you so often do.
For the work and witness of this congregation and NAMI, your contributions are gratefully received. There's a story about a house where many people live, and more people want to move in because the spirit of love and creativity among the people of all ages living in the house is inviting. The household also supports a menagerie of pets and plant life. Have you ever known such a house? Think about a house that welcomed you, where you felt at home. Whose was it? Maybe it wasn't a house per se, but a group of people who helped you move or took care of you when you were sick. Maybe the house you are thinking about is this house, this sanctuary. Whether you're an old-timer, a newcomer, thank you very much, newcomers, and new members, or a visitor today, perhaps this congregation is among your welcoming places. Being part of a house or a group matters. Most humans have an innate desire to be with others. Think on how many seek community, during times of both sadness and celebration, as seen in so many community gatherings just in the past weeks in response to recent decisions by political leaders. I heard 20,000 folks on a phone call in Alabama the other night. Amazing. Or think back a bit. Think if and how much you miss community during the height of the COVID pandemic. Someone who would like the welcoming house in the opening story is the political sociologist Robert Putnam. Perhaps some of you have read his work. Robert Putnam. He's concerned about a trend towards social isolation that he refers to as bowling alone. Bowling alone is the title of a book. Putnam thinks it's much more fun to bowl on a team than to bowl alone. Regrettably, there are also so many other studies in addition to his about the rise of loneliness among Americans, often correlated, and I know this won't shock you, with time spent on cell phones. I know about the value of bowling together. It's important for a minister to develop communities outside of ministry. So some of my communities are in music and in dance. Social dance for me is great fun, and it builds relationships and realigns my soul. It's one of my important spiritual practices. If I'm in a pissy mood, 10 minutes later, after dancing, I'm smiling again. I meet people I would never meet otherwise. I need my fellow dancers. It's impossible to do a contra dance by myself. Sadly, human connection is dwindling. In busy lives, community often falls by the wayside. Many busy people are actually very lonely. Multitasking doesn't create community, nor does email, Facebook, or Instagram. Authentic community requires deep, direct connections to generate trust and respect for one another, to touch each other's hearts. Now, regrettably, another overlay on isolation these last few weeks is spreading among the immigrant community. Isolation created by remaining within homes and apartments through fear of venturing out for basics like work and school and food shopping and medical appointments. This congregation's collection of food these last 10 days or so for this sequestered community has been remarkable. Congratulate yourselves if you've given, and if you haven't given yet, continue to bring in food. Your contributions restore a sense of community. Yeah, give yourself a hand for this. Yeah. Connecting is a fundamental human drive. Connections are core to the meaning of religion. The root of the word religion is religio. That is rebound. As in our ligaments connect us. Religio, rebinding us together. The religious drive is universal, across time and location. A means to ask the big questions of life, like about living and dying, about truth and beauty and love. Being together in religious community helps connect us with people around the world and through time. Now, while big religious questions may be universal, answers are usually explored best in particular communities. Thus, religious denominations have evolved, grounded in common theological and social norms. Within denominations, then, congregations arise. We learn the identity of any denomination and congregation through studying their theology and their history, and supporting their covenant, their mission, and their vision. And we've just reviewed a covenant a few minutes ago. Can you explain the identity of Unitarian Universalism and the identity of this congregation? These are rhetorical questions right now, but they are also important questions for this congregation when you begin ministerial search in a few months, that you are able to discuss these questions. Then joining any group involves a process called membership. Membership is central in religious life because there's many meanings in a congregation's membership. On this day of welcoming new members, I want to explore some of the meanings of membership, here and in Unitarian Universalism more broadly. There's many stories out there about UU membership, including incorrect stereotypes, such as that you don't need to believe in anything to be a UU. Well, this morning, let's affirm a few accurate stories and debunk others which make for good teasing, but they're not exactly accurate. How any religious denomination or congregation defines its terms of membership is central to its identity. The terms of membership are central to identity. In Unitarian Universalism, organized by congregational polity, each congregation defines its own process for membership. What you experienced this morning in the ceremony is defined by this congregation. Thus, every congregant has a responsibility to understand the congregation's meaning of membership, conveyed for starters through the Path to Membership class, which was held here 3 weeks ago. When this class is offered again, I urge anyone, not just newcomers, to consider attending this class, to keep up with the meaning of membership in this congregation. Might be a good review for some old-timers. One important condition for membership in UU congregations is a commitment not to creed, but to covenant, a promise for how to live and walk well together. In the past decade or so, UU covenants revolve primarily not around theology, instead around our commitments to justice, equity, and inclusion through covenants of anti-racism, anti-oppression, and multiculturalism. Deeds, not creeds, we often say. This is core to the UU covenant, our actions, our deeds. So my friends, mark your calendars for Sunday, March 16th after the service, when we'll come together in the second workshop as part of the all-congregation covenant process that we're working on. So Sunday, March 16th, there's more about it in email communications, and there will be more. So with this very brief review of membership, the meaning of membership that I've suggested, let me ask, why do you want to be part of a religious community? And why this congregation? Why have you committed to membership? Or perhaps you're considering membership in the future. What's appealing about liberal faith for you? I know that your stories about joining are diverse and often personal, and we heard a few of them this morning in the bios, for example. You may be part of that growing trend of churchgoers, especially younger folks, who want to grow spiritually and who frequently distinguish spiritual from religious. That spiritual search may include simply a place to get away from the hectic grind for an hour, or a place to bring cares and concerns. Or you may be looking for a place to expand your knowledge. Reason has always been a guiding value in liberal religion and in defining liberal theology. Or some of your other reasons for coming to this congregation. You may be looking for a place to educate your children. Some of you may be here to teach those children. Some of you probably come here for friendship. I expect that's high on the list of many of you. Some of you come here because it's just easier to do social justice with others than alone. Now, I don't know if there's any statistics about this, but I can't but imagine what the statistics are about how many people find partners at church. That is, church as a dating service. We have many reasons for coming to church. For me, the beauty of liberal faith is its wide palette of options, as we each pursue truth in our own way. Regardless of your personal reasons, what I hope is that each time you come here, you experience transformation. To leave this place a little or a lot different than when you arrived. In connecting with others through life-giving, not death-dealing values and habits, we can find new insights into this process called life, an important consequence of not bowling alone. While there's many benefits in attending a religious community, membership also includes responsibilities. For starters, membership is not one single act of signing a book or paying a pledge. Instead, it's an ongoing, organic process of building relationships. One should not sign the book on the very first visit, and true confession, I actually signed on the second visit when I went into a UU church. Don't do as I do, do as I say with this. On the other hand, there should be some progress. I hope that anyone who keeps coming back will eventually choose membership. Organized by congregational polity as we are, our free congregations could not exist without members' commitments to the stewardship of time, talents, and treasures. And I hope you've been discerning about me by now. I look very much at the meaning of membership, and I distinguish quite strongly between those who are members and those who are friends of congregations. It's important for a minister to have that information. It's important for you to understand that as you're in a period of transitioning. The difference between being a member and, I'll say, a non-member, although I don't like to use negatives, being a member and being a friend or another kind of non-member. So for me, membership matters a lot. Declaring membership also doesn't mean that your search for meaning in life is concluded. Membership asks of us ongoing searching, since the answers, doggone it all, they just keep changing. The meaning of membership lies in the journey, not the arrival, not the answers. Especially during transitioning ministry, the asking of questions and the search for new ways of being is especially critical for the transformation you hope for. Let me ask again then, what does participation in this congregation as member or friend or visitor mean to you? How do you live out the covenants asked of you whenever you are here, such as those declared today? The meaning of membership includes not just what we get out of church, but what we contribute by being here. Do you come on Sunday morning as much as life allows regularity these days, regardless of the theme of the service or the service leaders? Do you believe your presence here really matters? To be involved in at least one activity outside of Sunday morning worship? Do you understand stewardship as that tripartite giving of time, talent, and treasures? When you're here at any activity, are you really present? Are you totally mindful? To be open to those moments of transformation that just might come along. Intentional and engaged communication, especially important during this transitioning time. And finally, membership also offers privileges, such as voting in congregational meetings. Now listen up, friends, privileges. Voting in congregational meetings, serving in elected office, and access to rites of passage, such as child dedications, weddings, and memorials. I know leadership development is looking ahead to the next round of elected leadership. So when asked, if you're asked, I hope you can say yes. Membership means you are committed to a religious movement that does good in the world. It's not only a signature in a book, but an ongoing process of exploration, transformation, and service. Membership indeed comes with many meanings. So let's go back to that image of the welcoming house I opened with. Think on what you would be missing if a house like that were not here for you and for others, especially in times of deep need. Think about how different your life would be if you ended up bowling alone. In that difference between no house and a welcoming house, we find many meanings of membership. May all this be so. And so indeed, as we conclude this morning of welcoming in new and embracing and growing in who this congregation is, we indeed are building a new way. Our final hymn this morning is in the teal hymnals 1017, if you wish to follow. The words will also be up on the screen. Let's sing lustily, building a new way. In body or spirit, as we extinguish our chalice, the words are on the screen. We extinguish this chalice. My friends, I invite you all to reach out, touch the hand, the arm, the spirit in the room and those online. For those of you who have come here seeking God, may God go with you. For those of you who have come here seeking life, may life return your affection. For those of you who have come here seeking a better way, may that way be found and the courage to take it step by step. When you leave here this morning, my friends, go in peace. When you return to this sacred space, return in love and in hope and in community. Amen. Shalom. Salam. Namaste. Blessed be. I invite you to resume your seats because guess what? We have announcements.
I'd like to introduce to you Keith Seawright. Right? He never uses glasses because he sees right. And, oh, no, you've probably never heard that one. Anyhow, he's going to read the announcements for you.
I'm Keith Seawright. I'm the secretary on the Board of Trustees. My pronouns are he, him. I have two announcements for you today. The first is from Marky Lloyd of the Membership Engagement Council. The Winter-Spring Inquirer Series begins today with a building tour. The Inquirer Series is a sequence of informal presentations for visitors and members who would like to know more about various aspects of the fellowship. If you'd like to participate in the tour, feel free to get a cup of coffee in the fellowship hall and then meet at the welcome table at 11:30. The tour will conclude at 12:15. Second announcement from Julie McKenzie of BV Can. There will be training offered in organizing to uplift human dignity. Join Together Colorado for the Northern Community Organizing Training on Sunday, March 2nd from 1 to 7 at the heart of Longmont in Longmont. This is important training for new and existing members. The points of contact are Julie McKenzie, Anne Marie Jensen, and Kathy Partridge. Visit the Together Colorado table at coffee hour to learn more. And that's all of today's announcements. Thanks. And we have closing music, and I understand if you'd like to leave at this time, you may, or you can sit and enjoy.